I don't know if this thing's recording or not. Yeah, I guess it is. God, I'm so sick of the fucking alcohol bullshit. I feel like such an idiot when I drink. I'm telling you though, things get fucking weird. Like the longer I'm sober and I go out places, things are just fucking weird everywhere, man. It's kind of tough to explain. Like most people wouldn't even believe me, the kind of shit that I go through. It's like the whole fucking world just goes ape shit, man. Things get really, really weird. I mean, I'll go places and there'll be like carloads of midgets and people walking around in fucking creepy clown masks and just endless like weird. I'm talking like you go on, like you look out at the road and there's like no traffic 1 minute, and then I decide to go somewhere and I go out and suddenly there's traffic everywhere. It's like the fucking Truman Show or something, you know? And things change in the world, like physical changes all the time, man. It's hard to explain a lot of things, like I tried to drive up to the ATM at the bank, for instance, and the lane that you're supposed to pull into the ATM was so narrow that I had to like back up and just to line the car up perfectly because there wasn't hardly any room to drive in there. That used to be twice as wide as what it is now. Parking spaces, places I go, half the time the space will be so small I barely even get my car into it. Like, there's so many weird things that will change from one day to the next. People will be different. I mean, you'll see a person one day they've got black hair, the next day they're blonde, or you see a guy one day he's skinny with short gray hair, and the next day he's blonde, or a week later he's blonde and 100 pounds overweight. You know, see weird things, man, that defy explanation by any logical means. You know. And you just feel like you're going crazy. But this shit is really happening though, you know? It's real. You know, like the Nirvana song, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not after you, you know? It's like shit gets weird, man. It's like the fucking Truman Show, except scarier, like 1,000 times scarier. It's like a dark, like malevolent sort of fucking Truman Show sort of situation, basically. Like, it's hard to even explain. I know it sounds fucking absolutely nuts, but like, I mean, there'll be shit like, you know, trees disappearing and then reappearing. You know, a couple 100-foot tall tree will be there on the corner one day, and then you go by that same place and there's looks like the same tree, but it's only like 7 or 8 feet tall or something. It's like a baby tree. Or a tree moves from one place to another. Buildings move. Like, now that I know I realize how crazy that sounds, but that's the sort of Mandela effect stuff that people don't talk about as much. Some people do, but I mean, everywhere I go, things change all the time, and it's fucking scary, man. You see logos change and signs. I mean, last couple times I go to do my laundry, get vape juice or whatever, it's over by Walmart. I mean, I'll see shit like huge apartment complexes that pop up out of nowhere. Things that would have taken probably months to build that have just been built in like a couple of days or something. They just appear out of nowhere. There's a church that used to be down the road, like kind of one street over from where I used to live. That thing moved blocks down the street, man. The same church, the same building, but it's like, I don't know, half a mile away from where I was. I mean, it's fucking crazy. That it's inexplainable. It's stuff that like I cannot fucking explain by any logic whatsoever. It makes no sense. It's crazy. And it makes me sound crazy to even talk about it, but I mean, I'll go do my laundry one day, and then the next day I'll go back to do laundry or something. Or no, not the next day, but like say a week later I'll go there, and it looks like the whole paint job of like Walmart has been repainted or something in that week. But then, no, that's another thing that happens. Like one day I'll go to say a parking lot, and it looks like it has a brand new paint job on the parking lot, right? And then I'll go there like a week later, and the paint looks like it's been there for years, like it hasn't, like it's just worn out and faded and old, you know? The whole layout will have changed, you know? A lot of weird shit like that happens, you know? And I can't explain it. You wonder why the fuck I end up wanting to drink. It's just, my fucking life gets so fucking weird. The shit that goes on is so fucking crazy, and it's fucking terrifying. I mean, it's like, imagine you drive a blue car and live in a white house, and you wake up one day and your house is purple and your car is red or something. And then you try to mention this to anyone, and everybody acts like you're crazy, like it's always been that way, right? Or imagine if you're, I'll give an example. You see how many fucking, what is it called, Fast and the Furious movies there are? This is just an example from recently. I saw it was on TV the other day, fucking Fast and Furious 6, and Paul Walker was alive and in it. Like, what? That dude died in a car, like, died in a car wreck. I remember there only being like 2 movies with him in it, and then he died in a car wreck, and they made the rest of them without him. And now he's in part 6. Like, what the... I mean, that's nuts. Oh, man. I'll see things like actors that died years ago, just suddenly they're alive again. And just so many weird things, man. On a basically daily basis. And I'm talking, there's little things, there's a lot of little things, and then there's some big, huge things, like the motel that I wanted to go move over to in this other town. That place used to have, must be 30, 40, 50 rooms or something. I've drove past it hundreds of times, and I've seen it. It was way bigger. But then when I went there to stop in and check, suddenly there's only 4 rooms there, and none of them are ever vacant, you know? The fucking mobile home I tried to buy, in that town. There were 2 of them for sale, and I was willing to buy either one. And I kept going back there for like 2 months, driving past this place, trying to get a hold of the manager. And I finally get in there. I found out, suddenly neither one is for sale. You know? And they look totally different, like they'd moved the other ones out and there's different ones in their place or something, you know? It was so weird. And how are you supposed to explain this shit to people, you know? There's no way to fucking explain the sort of shit that I go through without sounding fucking nuts, because the shit that goes on is fucking nuts. It's nuts. It's crazy. It makes no logical, rational fucking sense whatsoever. But that doesn't mean that it's not happening. It really is genuinely fucking happening. It's not like I'm imagining shit. It really fucking happens. And I'm not the only person that experiences this shit. There's other people too that have had similar experiences to what I deal with. But few people are willing to talk about it, you know? So what are you supposed to do with that, man? How are you supposed to get through your life when... It's like my dad always telling me, I just need to get a job and everything will be fine. But, like, he doesn't understand, man. The universe would not even let me do that. And it's a miracle that I can even walk upright and form sentences with the kind of shit that I've been through. I've seen some, super terrifying shit, man. I've been through some weird stuff, man. And I mean, what are you supposed to do with that, man? It's hard to explain. The kind of shit that I deal with, this is a daily basis, man. Especially when I go places. It's when I have to leave or I have to go somewhere to get groceries or get the mail or something. Shit gets weird as fuck, man. I mean... I'll tell you, the kind of shit that happens, just as an example, this isn't something that directly happened, but, I don't know, imagine if, say, there was a Walmart in your town, right, that's been there for years, and then one day you drive past, and there's a movie theater there, and there's no Walmart and never has been. Right? Or imagine... You've driven past this place, on a weekly basis for 20 years, right? And then you drive past one day and there's a factory on the side of the road that you've never seen before. And it looks like it's been there for years. Even just on the drive from where I used to live, the road on the way back from there, the back road, there's numerous... For one thing, there was a house that was falling apart that one day it was just fucking gone, like they had demolished it. And I thought, and there's a for sale sign on an empty lot where it was. And then a little while later I drove past again and that house was back. Right? And then years later it was demolished and there was that empty lot there with the sign for sale, for sale sign. Other things that happened, I've driven past houses that were nice big houses that I'd seen driving past for years, and then one day I'd drive past the same area and the house is gone, but there's a frame, it's like the house that I remember is now being constructed, as though it wasn't there before, Other things that happen is there will be a tree somewhere where there wasn't a tree before, or there will be this huge tree that's been there for years, and then one day you drive past and there's a tree that's small that looks just like the big tree that you remembered being there. like the tree had shrunk and moved or something, you know? How are you supposed to just go get a job, right? Dude. The kind of shit that happens, dude. And then there's all the fucking the shit that happens with my electronics. Like, shit is fucking with me constantly. This world is fucking with me. Fucking with my head, driving me insane, basically. When I moved from the other room into this room, my Android TV box, my external hard drive, and my power strip stopped working. Now, why they were working fine in the other room, but they don't work here. They just stopped working. Doesn't matter what power strip I plug in. It's like it got hit by an EMP or something, you know? It doesn't make any sense. You know? Sometimes I'll try and make a video if I have something important to talk about or something. And I'll have like 100% battery life on the phone. And then it'll just die, like, instantly. And I'll try plugging it in, trying to charge it, and it won't charge for like 2 days or something. Like, this, whatever power this is, whether it's fucking Truman Show or UFOs or whatever the hell it is, if they want me to go out to my car and don't want my car to start, then my car won't fucking start, you know? If they want my phone to die, it'll die in a second, you know? If they want the TV to stop working, the TV will stop working. I built like a half a dozen computers one time from parts, you know? And I set them up and they were all working fine. And then I unplugged them and I put them over in the corner. I tried to sell them online. And one after another, I'd get a message from somebody saying that they wanted to buy a computer. And I'd say, oh, good. And I'd plug the thing in just to check it last minute, you know, and so that I could show them that it works. And the thing would just be black screen, wouldn't turn on, wouldn't work. Computers that were fine, that I had spent days or, you know, many hours working on it, putting together, they were working just fine 1 minute. The second I tried to get them sold, they don't work anymore, you know? That's the kind of stuff that happens, man. And that's just like a small example. Sounds nuts. Sounds like it couldn't possibly be real. And that's how I feel, you know. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't add up. It seems absolutely crazy to me. And yet that's my experience. That's what I go through. So it is what it is, you know. And, you know, I mean, it's like people could call you crazy for saying you saw a UFO, but if you have a picture or a video of the damn thing on your phone, they still call you crazy. You know? You could have footage, evidence to back it up, and they'd still say, oh, you're just imagining things, right? Just invalidate your experience, you know. I've been haunted basically by these things almost basically my entire life, ever since I was a little kid, man. I don't know if it's because my sister and her friends were doing witchcraft in the house, or if the place was just haunted, or what the hell, or if it's because I'm some sort of abductee or something. There's so much weird stuff, man. I mean, so many weird things that don't add up, man. It's very, very, very strange. There's, like, lots of examples, like, there's women that I used to date that if I was to get a hold of them, like, talk to them or something, like, I've had women that I've dated in the past that acted like that when I tried to talk to them a little while later, they act like they've never met me before in my life, like I was some complete stranger, because maybe in some alternate dimension I hadn't met them before, you know, or whatever, right? I've had ex-girlfriends that suddenly had a different name and acted like they never met me before in their life. I've had, dude, just endless amounts of weird shit that doesn't add up. I've heard other people tell stories about the sort of shit they go through, like, weird stuff, you know? And I believe them because I know I've been through things like this, you know? There's a woman that said she woke up one day and like the guy she was dating acted like he'd never met her, or she couldn't even find any evidence that he ever existed, and there's some totally different guy there that she was dating or whatever, apparently. And she goes to work and can't find her office because her office was on a different floor or something, because she had a different job at the same company, you know? That's the kind of weird crap, you know? Like, imagine if you woke up tomorrow and you were living in a world where John F. Kennedy would never been assassinated, right? Or if you woke up the next tomorrow and found out that the Titanic never sank, right? Or, I mean, that's the kind of shit that I deal with on a daily fucking basis. Or you wake up tomorrow and find out that the Germany won World War II or something, right? Like that kind of weird stuff. But the worst part is experiencing that kind of shit and then knowing that, you know, your family or whatever will just pretend like you're imagining things, like it's not happening, like it's not real. So it's basically like you lost your family, you know? Family, people that you grew up with, your parents, whatever, you know, your family, your friends, they're all gone, you know? And they're just these strangers that don't know you. God dang it. Not only do they not know you, but they treat you like you're somebody you're not, because they think they know some alternate version of you or something. So they treat you like you're a completely different person, you know? That you're someone that you're not. It sucks. I mean, shit is like super, super weird, dude. I'll give you one example of the weirdness. Another one example of the weirdness. When I look up my name on the internet, I find that there's a whole bunch of ministers that have the same name as me, and I also find a news article about a boy with the same name as me that was rescued from like a boat accident. Yeah, like he was rescued from the ocean. I mean, it's like that. What's that movie? Those movies. Damn it. Escape to Witch Mountain or whatever. Right? That's what the kind of story was, basically. It's a kid that's the same name as me, around the same area even, was like found in the ocean, basically. This, and I wondered, like, is that me, or are they just, because I don't know, man. Honestly, I looked myself, I did the whole ancestry DNA thing, and I was half expecting to find out that my dad isn't even really my dad or something, because he at least nowadays, he doesn't act like he's related to me. He acts like he hates me, like he just wants to punish and hurt me or something. He doesn't seem like my father at all. He seems like just some abusive monster or something, basically, most of the time. Tries to lure me in so he can hurt me, you know? But the ancestry DNA made it sound like, I guess, well, I don't know. My DNA actually says that I'm like English or whatever, and his DNA says that he's Scottish and Irish or whatever mainly, whereas my DNA says that I'm English, so I don't know. But it also makes it, says that we're related or whatever, but I don't know. Also, I kind of thought maybe I had some kids out there or something that I didn't know about. Because I've been around the block, It'd almost be a miracle if I didn't, I don't know, I thought, I hate the idea of not being around for kids or something if I had kids, but it would be nice if some part of me was left in the world, I guess. I'm scared, to be honest, I'm scared, man. I feel like I don't know if I'm going to make it through this, I don't know what to do. I need help. I need major, money help, and as far as the drinking goes, I really believe I could stop that if I just had a better life. If my life wasn't so fucking screwed up. If I had, supportive, decent, loving, kind people in my life or something, I feel like I'd be alright. And I could probably quit drinking pretty easily. If I had some sort of substance and some sort of goodness and peace in my life, and peace of mind. Something to live for, I just want somebody to love, somebody to love me. But I feel like the world doesn't want me to have that, or like there's some dark force. It really does feel, and in my experience, this is really going on, man. It's like I am under heavy spiritual attack, and this is, I mean, they're. I don't feel safe, to be honest. I don't. I feel like I'm always just surrounded by danger, basically. Kind of, I'm targeted. I'm singled out, and I don't know who to trust. I don't feel like I could trust doctors because, well, I've been into that, they've hurt a lot of people, over these last few years. They hurt my mom, they hurt my grandma, they took them from me, and I don't trust them. I'm scared of them, dude. Damn it. Shit. Fucking exhausted. I hate this shit. I hate the damn drinking. I feel so fucking stupid for drinking and acting a fool, man. The things that I deal with, it just... Even like one of the only people that comes around acting like a friend or whatever is, listen to the stuff he says and the things he talks about. Like, the dude is fucking evil, man. And he's just kind of using me, it feels like. Even, like, I don't know who the fuck I can even trust. And when people... It actually scares me sometimes when people are nice to me and when people are attentive and stuff, because it's like I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. I'm afraid, like, what are they going to do? What are they trying to do to me? Are they trying to trap me or rob me or hurt me? Because that's what my life has been. I've just been beat down and surrounded and messed with, My life, my relationships, like, for years, have been completely crazy, like... I mean, what are you supposed to do with this shit, man? What am I supposed to do? It's like the only hope when you feel hopeless. I find myself, like, seeking Christianity and seeking out God, because who else is going to help me, But then I feel like I even feel like I've been abandoned by even God. It feels like it. I mean, what's that story in the Bible where the guy, like, the devil makes a bet with God or something, and he torments this guy, takes everything away from him, takes his children, takes his home, takes his wife, takes, everything away from him, ends up plaguing him with boils and sores, and like that's what I feel like I'm dealing with, man. It's like that level of torment, basically, in my life. Like, Jacob or something, whatever it was. I'm I don't know what to do. I tried talking to my dad about things, but he just treats me like I'm nuts, or like all he ever says is get a job, He doesn't listen to any of the shit that I've been through or anything. He just I mean, heck, my parents, man, I was doing drugs and stuff when I was a teenager. I was 16, 17, 18, They, not once did they stage an intervention, about the most they ever did was give me a AA pamphlet or something. Like, that's... The way it's been in my life is like the way my life versus other people's lives. Other people, if they were to, say, pass out somewhere, right? Somebody would rush to their aid and rescue them and get them to the hospital or something. Whereas me, they're liable to just leave me there until I wake up and wander off by myself, If I was to pass out on the lawn somewhere, like, I would just end up maybe assuming I'm still around, I'd just wake up hours later, probably still on the ground in the same spot where I fell, Because people don't care. That's the way I'm treated. Other people, if they ask, hey, can I get some housing? They get housing. I try to rent a place and they just deny me. I try to buy a place and everything just gets in the way. Sometimes I even I'll walk into a store, right? God, where was this? I'm trying to remember the store I was at. 7-Eleven or something. I went up to get a Slurpee, and I walked off and was going to grab a sandwich real quick. And I get back, and they're, like, checking somebody else out, I just took, like, a second to go grab something. I don't know. I see it all the time. I see people who get treated like special, and if my sister goes to a doctor and says, "Doctor, I need some help," she walk out of there with 20 different medications. If I was to do the same thing, they'd probably send me out of there empty-handed, or I'd have to keep going back and begging to get anything, It's just, I don't feel like there's any real help for me because most of the time there's a guy that seems nice, seems cool, but I don't know, man. I'm sort of scared. That offered to let me, like, rent his camp trailer or whatever. But something seemed off, you know? Something seemed kind of off. Like, didn't quite make sense. Like, why is this guy putting up with, you know, all the weird videos I was making and the weird stuff I talk about when I was drunk or whatever? And why does this guy, you know, so interested? How come the dude never came to hang out all the time that I talked to him? But he always wanted to get me to hang out with him, and he always wanted to have, like, you know, a few other dudes with him or something that I don't know, right? Why, you know? So I started thinking, like, is this guy trying to hurt me or rip me off or what, you know? Is this a trap? I don't know, you know? And I hate to think like that, but it's like, I've had some pretty horrible experiences in my life, man. I've had to try to avoid a lot of traps. I've had people try to trap me many, many times. Try to lure me someplace. Just narrowly escape, you know, serious harm. There's been twice just in the last year that I've had. It's hard to explain. This is one of the really, really weird things that seems like it couldn't be real. But my mom's husband was with me one time when this happened. This guy that looked like he was decomposing or something. You know, like imagine the worst picture of like a horribly sick meth addict or something, but like worse than that. Looked like he was a walking, you know, corpse or something, but completely insane, you know. I've had twice in this last year where a car driven by somebody that looked like that tried to ram me, tried to hurt me, you know, tried to kill me basically. That's just in the last year. Twice that's happened. And both times it was somebody that looked like they looked like somebody dug them up out of a grave or something. They looked like they couldn't be walking, you know. It's fucking terrifying, man. The shit that I go through. And then to just be discounted and to be like misunderstood and just to not be able to talk about it and not have anybody believe you. It's just fucking horrifying, man. God dang it, I don't want to die. I just want my life to get better. Honestly, I'm fucking scared, man. I don't feel right. I have a hard time not thinking that I must already have died. If I'm somehow still alive, if that's what this is, then none of this shit makes sense, man. I don't... It doesn't add up, man. The stuff I see, the stuff I've dealt with is it's impossible. I mean, in a real normal physical world, none of this shit could not possibly be real. But I deal with it every day. God help me, please. Please help me. God help me.